The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings. Beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
Nakuzino twajirwa flat tami. Tuchayambala ko kugoyo obutukwata.
Wajana ku body shaming. Speak up. Gendo ba confronting gay. Obagambe echo kyemukola si kirungi.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the alternative Digitalk mukwano gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
Ngati tata wange amanyira nkola n'obuvunanyizibwa nyina bungi. Era agezaako n'anyamba yambako yanda.
Naye kumukubira kumubuuzaako. Noga mama we bali kunzaala.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships?
Come and visit, call me. Simanyanga I miss you bichi. Especially embeera y'obudde sinungi.
Naye n'omuntu akwagalira mu season yabata kwagala ze nkubuulira.
Just be commenting nga topic yona gyandyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the alternative Digitalk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Tusimbule edakiika ziweze 5 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'amakya g'olunaku olwaleero lunaku lwakuna munnange ennaku z'omwezi ziri 26 tuli mwezi ogwa January oba ogwa Gatonya omwaka 2023 bwe lwali bwe luti ng'ennaku z'omwezi 26 omwezi ogwa January omwaka 1996 abaali abayekera ebiseera ebyo munnange baali bamaze okubanga bawangula era nga abo be baali aba NRM kakati abasinga gye tumanyi nga NRM munnange bawangula obuyinza era kakati abe batukulembedde okutukira ddala olunaku olwaleero buli giweze emyaka 37 munnange bukyanga batwala buyinza kakati benjogerako abo nno be bakulemberwa General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni tebuhabula era nga ye mukulembeze ow'eggwanga lino lyennyini erya Uganda ono yabadde omukulembeze okuvira ddala mu 1986 okutukira ddala ate olunaku olwaleero NRM ejaguza emyaka 37 munnange bukyanga etwala ntebe oba bukyanga bajja mu buyinza ebijaguzo bino bigenda beera mu district ey'e Kakumiro era nga bya lunaku lwaleero nze omumbejja luwedde Lilian era nga mbaniriza nnyo ku program The Mighty Drive akanyomero ke tulimo Keka Mighty Global News Updates era nga ngenda kuba nkuyisizaamu ku ebyo ebyakoze amawulire mu ggwanga Uganda n'ebitundu by'eggwanga ate ebyenjawulo yonna gy'osinzidde okubanga munnange otulaba kubanga tulina abatulaba abali emitala w'amayanja munnange mwebale nnyo mwebale ddala kyemukola kyamaanyi nnyo tuli butereevu ku page yaffe ya The Alternative Uganda okunno kugatta ne Digitalk TV kwe tusinzira ate okubanga tubaweereza tuli mu ggwanga Uganda era nga tusangibwa lukuli nanganda munange osobola okubanga otufuna gwayagala okumanya biki bye tukola ebintu ebyenjawulo obulango munange alina omukolo gwayagala tukwatire fewe tuli nnyo munange okusobola okubanga service ezo munange tuze kuwa naye gwayagala okulanga naffe munange enamba ko eri okwo ku page yaffe eya Facebook esobola okubanga ogikubako omukulu anaabagikutte ajja kubanga akubuulira emitendera amwina okuyita oba joyina okubanga ogoberera okusobola okubanga munange olanga naffe jangu munange olange naffe business tugikuba abantu maaso ate nabo beewuunye bakutegeere biki byokola wawo osangibwa na services ki aba bintu ki munange byotunda naye nga ngenda kubanga mpitayitamuko mu mawulire olunaku olwaleero munange olunaku olweggulo bingi nnyo ebyakoze amawulire naye nga sinaba kubanga mbitayitamu kutegeeza nti olunaku olwaleero tugenda kubanga twegattibwako omwami Vianney Matovu Ngoma era ng'ono mukulembeze mu Uganda Patriotic Movement oba UPM baaliwo ebiseera biringa Uganda tetunaba kubanga twenunula naye munange olunaku olwaleero agenda kubanga ate atukubira tooke mu myaka gino 37 eky'ekibiina kya NRM munange bingi nnyo byetugenda okubanga twogerako okutuukira ddala ku ssaawa 4 ezakalasamanyazi soberako osobola okubanga owulira omukulu biki byayogerako mu sectors ate ez'enjawulo nga bwe nkutegeezezza mu ntandikwa nti bannakibiina kya NRM olunaku olwaleero omukolo gw'okujaguza amenunula bagenda kubanga bagukwatira mu district ey'e Kakumiro era ng'eno nno munnange Prime Minister wa Uganda omukyala Robina Nabbanja ate naye munnange ye Said Java era nga ye mubaka abakiikirira mu Parliament eno ey'e10 olunaku olweggulo munnange wabaddewo ebijaguzo ebyenjawulo nga bino bye byabadde biggulawo amajaguza munnange agamba enunula ag'olunaku olwaleero era ng'eno gye balonchingidde enteekateeka ya parish development model era ng'abantu abasobera ddala mu 6 basobodde okubanga munnange bafuna essente zino ez'emiruka oba eza parish development model okubayambako ate okwejja mu bwavu era nga myuka akulira enteekateeka eno eya parish development model omukyala Jovrin Kalisa ye yakakasizza okuba nti munnange bannakakumiro abamu era basobera ddala mu 6 basobodde okubanga bafuna ssente zino ezibayambeko ate okwejja mu bwavu bino nno byabadde bebimu ku bijaguzo ebyasoose munnange nga beetegekera okujaguza ate olunaku olw'amenunula era nga lweba olunaku olwaleero kakati ye Prime Minister omukyala Robina Nabbanja munnange naye yatuuse dda era nga mutaka mu district ey'e Kakumiro okunokosa minisita w'ebyettaka omukyala Judith Nabakooba munnange batuuse dda e Kakumiro okusobola okuba nti nabo benyigira mu nteekateeka eno eyokuba nti munnange bategekera abagenyi abagenda okubanga bagendera ddala ku mukolo guno ogw'okukuza amenunula nga bwolaba ku screen yo kakato ye Prime Minister mukyala Robina Nabbanja yabadde edda bagamba nga nti eryo lyeggwatiro naye munaye babadde mu ggwatiro nga bawaata emmere gye bagenda okubanga bagabula abagenyi bw'oba weetegereza bulungi nnyo mu kavidiyo ako omulaba nga yina yabadde musanyufu okunokosa n'abakyala ababadde bamwetoolodde kwegamba nga essanyu lye balina munnange lya Mokiwagonja mu babaddewo era mwe muli ne minisita w'ebyettaka omulaba bulungi nnyo omukyala Judith Nabakooba era nga naye yabaddewo mu keetalaako ak'okubanga bawaata n'okuteekerateekera abagenyi abagenda okubeera ate ku mukolo ogw'okujaguza amenunula oluvannyuma lw'emyaka 37 munnange nga NRM be bali mu buyinza kakati munnange ago ge mawulire agava esayidi eyo ngenda kubanga neeyongerayoko mu ggolira ate eddala munnange eddwaliro ly'omubaka oba eryatandikibwawo omubaka wa Kawempe North Muhammad Segirinya munnange lino nno kakati lyagaliddwawo ddala mu butongole olunaku olw'eggulo munnange ebimu ku bikozesebwa n'eddagala ebyabadde mu ddwaliro lino byagabiddwa mu malwaliro agaliraanyeewo munnange mu Kawempe North constituency munnange mu bino mwabaddemu ebyuma ebikozesebwa mu ddwaliro ebyuma eby'enjawulo era nga bino munnange byagabiddwa mu malwaliro ag'enjawulo okonnokosa ate akosa n'eddagala munnange era nga omu ku babadde baddukanya eddwaliro lino yategeezezza omwami Thomas Bagonza yategeezezza nti munnange kino kyakoleddwa okuba nti munnange ebintu bino ebibadde bikozesebwa mu ddwaliro tebitalaga ate nga bina abalala bebisobola okuba nga biyamba ebikozesebwa bino munnange babigabye okunnokosa n'eddagala okusobola okuba nti babiwa ababyetaaga era abasobolera ddala okuba nga babikozesa munnange n'okuyambako ku nsonga y'ebyobulamu munnange ate mu bitundu eby'ekawempe ago nno ge mawulire agava esayidi era nga omutandisi w'eddwaliro lino era nga ye mubaka wa Kawempe North mu Parliament omukulu Segirinya Muhammad ono nno kakati akulungulidde ddala ebbanga erisobera ddala mu mwaka omulamba wamu n'omubaka wa Makindye West omukulu Alan Sewanyana era nga bano baasibwa mu mwaka ogwa 2021 ku bigambibwa nti benyigira mu nsonga z'ebijambya ebyali e Masaka awamu n'emisango emirala ate gye babagulako era nga bano bakyagenda mu maaso n'okubanga bano bakyali mu kkomera era nga munnange no bakulunguddeyo ddala ebbanga erisoba mu mwaka omulamba ago nno ge mawulire ate agava esayidi eyo neeyongeddeyo kakati IGG oba kalisoliso wa government naye yavuddeyo n'ayingira mu nsonga z'ekisaawe ky'Entebbe gye buvuddeko obutambi bwalabikira ku mikono gye mugatta abantu nga bwogerera ddala ku nsonga ate ezaali oba ensonga z'obuli bw'enguzi ezaali ku kisaawe ky'ennyonyi Entebbe era nga munnange kino kyawaliriza abantu ab'enjawulo okuvaayo okwogera ku nsonga eno kakati ne kalisoliso wa government oba IGG omukyala Betty Kamya naye yavuddeyo n'asooka neyebaza bannayuganda olw'omulanga ate gwe baakubye munnange n'omulimu gwe baakoze ogw'ettendo okuba nti basobodde okuba nga balaga ebimu ku ebyo ebibi ebibadde bigenda mu maaso ku kisaawe ky'ennyonyi Entebbe era nga munnange yategeezezza nti ekyo kye baakoze kirungi nnyo bagendere ddala maaso n'okubanga bakola bwe batyo ate ne ku bitongole ebirala ebya gavumenti omuli ekya lands KCCA aba traffic munnange ababajjako enguzi munnange bongerere ddala okubanga munnange babeera basaale nnyo mu kulwanyisa ensonga eno ey'enguzi era yategeezezza nti bakyagenda mu maaso n'okubanga banoonyereza ku bakulu bano bennyini abaddukanya ekisaawe ky'ennyonyi Entebbe okulaba ate obuzibu bwavaawa okutuuka nga munnange abantu ab'enjawulo baggyibwako enguzi ate okusobola okuba nti beeyongerayo n'entambula zaabwe era IGG munnange mu lukuŋŋaana lwe yatuuzizza olw'abannamawulire yategeezezza nti ensonga eno bagenda kubanga bagirondoola okulaba ate obuzibu buli luddawa bwavaawa naki munnange kye beetaaga okubanga bakola ono nno ye kalisoliso wa gavumenti era nga bw'atyo bwe yategeezezza genda kubanga neeyongerayo butereevu n'amawulire ag'enjawulo bannakibiina kya Alliance for National Transformation munnange bavuddeyo ate ne batulaga flag bearer waabwe mu kalulu ak'esserere munnange akagenda okubanga kakubibwa omwezi ogujja oba omwezi ogwokubiri batulaze Honorable Alice Alaso Asunat munnange ng'agenda okubanga abakwatira bendera mu kalulu akabindabinda oba akalulu k'esserere akagenda okubanga kaddibwamu oluvannyuma lw'okuba nti eyali mu kifo ekyo nga omubaka wa Parliament munnange yafiira mu kabenje munnange katulinde ebinaava ate esayidi eyo tusobole okubanga atumanya anyana bakawangudde byonna tujja kubanga ate ffe tubikutuusaako wano ku Alternative Digitalk agonno ge mawulire ate agava mu Alliance for National Transformation. Ngenda kubanga neeyongerayo obudde mbulaba nga buntwalira ddala kantindigwa eddakiika ziri 17 ezezaakayita ate ku ssaawa 2 ez'amakya g'olunaku olwaleero. Program The Mighty Drive ye program gyogenda maaso n'okubanga olaba tutambulira ddala okuva ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya ate okutuukira ddala ku ssaawa 4 ez'akalasamayanzi. So beerako olunaku olwaleero tugenda kuba ate tuyita mu achievements oba ebyo bikoleddwa ekibiina kya NRM okumalira ddala emyaka 37 gye bamaze mu buyinza, era nga tugenda kubanga twegattibwako omukulu Vianney Matovu Ngoma, era nga ono mukulembeze mu Uganda Patriotic Movement. Munnange ebintu bino abazze y'omu ku babaddewo abalabye NRM olugendo lwezze nga etambula okutuukira ddala ku myaka 37. So olunaku olwaleero agenda kubanga twegattako tuyiteeyite mu nsonga zino osobole okubanga ate naabwe atudde waka obitegeera ate nanga obinnyonnyoka bulungi nnyo. Neeyongeddeyo Pope Francis awono kakati ngendedde ddala eri Roma. Bwe njogera ku Papa mba ngendedde ddala ate Roma. Kakati yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti homosexuality munnange si musango, era munnange n'ategeeza nti Katonda abaana be bonna bonna abaagala nga bwe bali, era n'ategeeza nti aba bishops okuva ate mu bitundu by'ensi oba mu mawanga ag'enjawulo bakyagenda maaso n'okubanga munnange kuno bagutwala nga omusango, era wamu n'okusosola abantu abo abava mu community ate eyo. Naye yategeezezza nti munnange kino kiva ku cultural backgrounds eziri ate mu mawanga ag'enjawulo, era nga amawanga agamu go munnange tegakkiririza mu kyakuba nti abantu ab'ekikula ekimu beewasa okunno kwe kuli omukyala n'omukyala okwewasa oba omwami n'omwami okuba nti beewasa. Naye ate ye Papa munnange yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti ogwo munnange si musango, era n'ategeeza nti ye Mukama Katonda abaana be abaagala bonna bonna nga bwe bali. Yo mu ggwanga eri America mu states ez'enjawulo munnange bakyalina ate antisodomy oba bakyalina amateeka aga antisodomy, era nga munnange yo kooti Supreme Court bwe yarulinga mu mwaka wa 2003 yategeeza nti amateeka gano gali unconstitutional, naye nga ate mu states ezimu munnange bakyagenda mu maaso n'okuba nti bakyagoberera ate amateeka gano aga antisodomy, era nga munnange yo UN wa United Nations era nabo bavuddeyo nnyo kubanga boogera ku nsonga eno, era nga bagamba nti munnange wabeewo ekkomo ate oba amateeka gano munnanga ge babadde nga bagoberera ate okucriminalizing n'okudiscriminatinga abantu abava esaidi eyo oba abava mu community eyo. Munnange basabye ate gano nno gagibwewo oba ate gakendeerezebwe ddala abantu basobole okweyagala nga bwe baagadde olw'ensonga nti munnange eryo ddembe lyabwe lyabwebange. Kakati ku nsonga eyo yennyini bwe nkomawo wano mu ggwanga erya Uganda oba amyuka speaker wa parliament omukulu Thomas Tayebwa munnange ate naye yavuddeyo nga yeewuunya ku Kasese Municipal Council okuba nti baali bagezaako okuyisa oba okola bailo munnange etteeka lino nga likkiriza nga litegeeza nti oba nga lirecognizinga batransgender ne bahomos okuba ate ba minorities, era nga yategeezeza nti okuyita ku mikutu gye egya social media munnange gye yafunira obubaka buno era ne bakubira kaawo munnange okusobola okubanga bakakasa embeera ate eno, era n'ategeeza bino nno ngenda kubisomera ddala mu Luzungu ng'agamba there is no local government that can pass a bylaw that contravenes the national laws, that is repugnant. There is no local government that can pass a bylaw that contravenes national laws. That is repugnant. Tewali local government yonna ena buyinza oba esobola kubanga ate eyisa bylaw yonna era nga enebe obanga ekonta n'ate n'amateeka geggwanga munaye bwatyo bwe yategeezeza. Naye olunaku olw'eggulo bwe nabadde ndaba ate amawulire wadde omukulembeze gwe nalabye ng'aviira ddala Kaseese era ng'ono yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti munnange tebannaba kubaako tteeka lyonna oba ate tebannaba kubanga bagezaako kubanga bayisa etteeka lyonna, era n'ategeeza nti munnaye Deputy Speaker baalisoose kubanga banoonyereza bulungi nnyo ng'ate tebannasiiga kifaananyi kibi district ey'e Kaseese. Era n'ategeeza nti tebasobola kubanga ate bakola ekintu ekifaanaganako bwe kityo. Bino nno we bijjidde nga munnange ensonga y'ebisiyaga ate ebadde efuuse ensonga mu ggwanga erya Uganda. Era sabbiiti eno munnange Parliament bavaayo ne bateekawo akakiiko kasobole okubanga kanoonyereza ate ku nsonga eno yennyini oluvannyuma lw'okuba nti waaliwo okwemulugunya ku bigambibwa nti waaliwo ensonga z'ebisiyaga mu masomero okuli Vienna College okuno kwogatta ne King's College Bodo, era nga Parliament yateekawo akakiiko kano kasobole okubanga munnange kanoonyereza ate ku nsonga zino zennyini eza ensonga z'ebisiyaga ezikutta ate ejjembe mu masomero. Era nga munnange ago nno ge mawulire ate agava esaidi eyo. So katulinde okunoonyereza kuno ebinaavaamu bigenda kuba bigamba ki munnange ate n'ensonga ez'enjawulo. Neeyongeddeyo era nga still nkyali ku Parliament, era nga olunaku olw'eggulo Deputy Speaker wa Parliament omukulu Thomas Tayebwa era yataddewo akakiiko abantu 7 okukola ate okunoonyereza ku NSSF, era nga kino kyekitavo ky'abakozi era nga ensonga ezimu ku zaatunuuliddwa mulimu ensonga z'obuli bw'enguzi n'okuba nti NSSF eno munnange tebakoledde ddala ki kye balina kubanga bakola nga ekitavu ky'abakozi. Munnange akakiiko kano kakulembeddwa omubaka Mwinempaka era nga kaliko ababaka ab'enjawulo okuli Honorable Nantongo Fortunate, Honorable Kankunda, Honorable Karim Masaba n'abalala bangi nnyo, era nga ababaka bano baviira ddala mu bibiina eby'enjawulo. Nalabyeko aba NRM, nalabyeko aba National Unity Platform. Munnange mulimu ababaka okuva mu NRM n'ababaka ate okuva ku ludda oluwabula oba oluvuganya government. Era nga akakiiko kano kaweereddwa ennaku 30 okubanga kamaze okubanga kanoonyereza era n'okufulumya alipoota ku kitavu kino ekya NSSF gye buvuddeko mu Parliament. Munnange ensonga ate ezaali nnyingi nnyo, era nga Minisita wa Gender omukyala Betty Amongi munono munnange yakunyizibwa ku nsonga ez'enjawulo ezikwata ku kitavo kino ekya NSSF. Munnange ago nno ge mawulire ate agava erudda eyo. Ngenda kubanga ate mpunzika n'ekitongole ki KCCA ekyavuddeyo okubanga ate kikwata abaana b'oku nguudo, era nga munnange bano ne bakwatiddwa ate era nga bateekateeka okubanga batwalibwa mu bitundu byabwe. Bano nno batendekebwe mu mirimu egy'enjawulo, baba batendekebwe mu skills ez'enjawulo, baba bangulwe mu mirimu egy'emikono awamu ate n'ebirala bingi nnyo. Bano nno baali bakwatibwako gye buvuddeko naye nga babadde bazeemu okubanga bakomawo. Ntegeeza abaana b'oku nguudo, era nga munnange ne ku mulundi guno basobodde okubanga babakwata abaana abamu bakaabye, era nga bano babadde bakwatibwa nga bateekebwa mu taxi, naye nga taxi eno bwejjula munnange bateekebwa ate mu costa okusobola okuba nti bongezebwayo. Munnange abaana bano babadde baweeredde ddala ku nguudo oba ku streets mu kibuga kino kyennyini ekya Kampala, naye ng'ekitongole ki KCCA ekyavuddeyo okulaba nti bakwata abaana bano ate basobola okubanga babazaayo. Munnange ate basobola okubanga baddizibwa ku masomero ate abalala wabakuzeekuzeemu basobola okuba nga babangulwa mu byemikono okusobola okuba nti beebeezaawo awamu n'okuba nti munnange beeyimirizaawo butereevu. Era KCCA bategeezeza nti bagenda kubanga bakwata abantu abo abawa abaana bano ssente oba abawa abaana b'oku makubo ssente, era nga kigambibwa nti bino kino kye kibakuumidde ate ku nguudo okusigala nga basabiriza ekitali kirungi n'akamu. Ku ddakiika 27 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'amakya g'olunaku olwaleero, updates zaffe ngenda kubanga nzikomyako wano kubanga mu byemizannyo nalabyeko nga waliwo okunoonyereza okugenda okubanga kukolebwa ku lifa ly'omu omukyala gwe babuulinze, naye ngenda kubanga ate nkola okunoonyereza ku nsonga eno bwe naabanga ate nkomyewo tomanya nja kusobola okubanga mbawa details ezigoberera ate esaidi eyo. Kakati tugenda kugenda mu kuwumulamuko katono nnyo. Bwe tukomawo Mighty Drive egenda kubanga yeeyongerayo era nga ngenda kubanga negatibwako omwami Rogers Tulyahabwe n'omugenyi waffe ate tusobola okubanga tugayagaya mu nsonga nga bwe ziri era nga bwe zitambudde mu ggwanga erya Uganda. Nse omumbejja luwedde Lilian okyagenda maaso n'okulaba Mighty Drive. Tuwumulamu katono nnyo tukomawo. Good morning.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digital brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk,
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel. Hello, beautiful people. You're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday, right from 6 to 7.
Naku zino twajjirwa flat tummy. Tukyayambalako ku ngoye obutukwata.
Wajja na body shaming. Speak up. Gendo ba confronting. Obagambe ekyo kyemukola si kirungi.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Digitalk. Mukwano gwange gwaliye. Topic ki wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
Era nze tata wange amanyira nkola n'obuvunaanyizibwa nyina bungi. Era agezaako n'anyamba yambako yanda.
Naye kumukubira kumubuuzaako. Noga mama we bali kunzaala.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships?
Come and visit, call me. Simanyanga I miss you bichi. Especially embeera y'obudde si nnungi.
Naye n'omuntu akwagalira mu season aba takwagala ze nkubuulira.
Just be commenting nga topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujja kuba tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Digitalk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
A very, very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to today's edition of the Mighty Drive. My name is Roger Sturiawe, and together with Lillian Lowede, we have been joined by a guest who is going to introduce himself in a few. It is the 26th day of January 2023. I think about 37 years ago, the NRM on this day, it celebrates its liberation struggle on the 26th of January every year, 26th of January. And so today we want to throw a little bit of a torch into the history, what were the aspirations of this struggle, what has been achieved in that regard, what has changed from the time that they were there up until now. And we have some person who has been there then and still around now, and so he's going to give us a whole picture of what were the aspirations, what has changed, what is still going to happen if we expect more, if the NRM is still going on. Well, he's a member of the UPM, which is more or less NRM also, because they were both founded by the same individual and premised, I think, on the same kind of principles. Unless if that changed later when he left, he founded the NRM, he left the UPM, and maybe something changed. So he's going to be telling us a little bit about that, and so I'm going to invite him to introduce himself and say hello to us.
Thank you, the panelists. I'm called Ngoma Vianney Ngoma, the national chairperson of UPM, who have lived longer than a century.
It is good to have you, sir. For a lot of people, some would think the UPM is not existing this now. At least for us, we have had UPM mostly in the history of Museveni, of the 1980s, the 1980 elections and all that. And after that, it went silent. What happened? What changed?
That is the thinking of the African way. For example, the VAT, this VAT which you are taxing people about, it is a company which was formed by the French in 1714. You know, the Europeans, when they form their own companies, they uphold them and sustain them longer. But us, we are only being moved by waves or situations, because for us, we are job seekers, hunters, gatherers. That's the problem of people changing. That's why one of the writers wrote a book after scrutinizing our character and behavior of not being steady, that from Obote to Obote. That's why you find somebody is in NRM today. When he is offended because he went into NRM not to construct or to read constructive ideas, when he goes there for a stomach power, when he fails to achieve, mostly we are being driven by job mentality. We have job syndrome, we Africans. When they don't appoint you for a certain job, you go where you will seek for a greener pasture. They are calling it greener pasture in your own current modern way of expressing things and scenarios. So that's the problem. UPM is not silent, but the difference with other parties, it is not violent. For us, we know partism is a character of demonstrations, branding other parties, confrontational, and rivalries. And that's why they think that it is silent. It is not.
But even in its peacefulness, we have not seen or even heard, at least even about the remote contestation of ideas. We have not had, I have never seen a UPM manifesto, I have never seen a UPM candidate stand for presidency, I have never had even a local council member who is a UPM. So is it not fair that we conclude that the UPM is not existing anymore?
The problem is one. Ugandans, they criminalized information in Uganda. When Uganda register, the law says the manifesto, you file it with the electoral commission. At delegates conference, you have to serve your delegates and invited guests only. So it is the obligation of the Electoral Commission and another wing, a legal wing, called National Consultative Forum for Political Parties and Political Organizations. So that one was weakened and disenchanted by self-handwritten gains and selfish gains, or it was knocked out by the parliament. The character of parliament, they target where there is, where to reap money. They are calling it season. When they are going for elections, they call it a season or a festive season. So when they reached in parliament, they used their mandate of registration and knocked the act, the Political Parties and Organizations Act. They formed interparliamentary dialogue, which knocked that
the interparty
forum, which should be sensitizing people about and exposing these manifestos to the public. So therefore the budget for that wing was smuggled by the parliament in that marriage of convenience and weakening the practice of partism in Uganda.
But even then, Mr. Vianney, does it excuse the conduct of the UPM being silent? That we have seen, for example, if the iPod took over the whole process, we have also seen the other parties present their own manifestos without having to go through the Electoral Commission and the Inter-Party Forum that you're talking about. Wouldn't you use the same approaches to go to the people and preach your manifesto? I mean, how do you expect Ugandans to follow you, to understand your ideas, to understand what you stand for, or what you represent for the country, if you do not go to them and present what you want them to do?
Now, these who are coming in to express their manifestos, they don't express it in a legitimate way, because now Uganda doesn't have any law in place. Any law was handed over to the law enforcers. There is a current oppressive law that whichever you are going to do, let it be a banquet, you have to go to the police for clearance. Of recent, the best, you are the ones who covered them for us who were not there and served us in your machines here. The Arsenal and the sports supporters, they won. They surrounded in Jinja for their liberation. Then the police criminalized them. Here in Uganda, whichever you come out to express, you are a criminal. They criminalized. Because when policing means you are a criminal, they are policing you to order. When you say that when I'm going to come here, I first pass via Naguru to the IGP for clearance. And that means we don't have any law, and we don't have a ruler in Uganda. The ruler is the police, is the state agencies. And even the president himself is not a ruler, because himself doesn't clear. If he is not having that constitutional immunity, should be even blocked to pass via any road. Should him first be conditioned to go to the IGP. Himself is being saved by the constitution alone. If they change the constitution and amend it, by today, himself from his bedroom must seek clearance. That is the problem. Then for us, according to our management of the affairs, of the governance and other freedoms of the public, we don't want to come in by colliding with agencies, and it becomes criminal. There they will not understand you. They may think that this is a rival party. Here we don't have partism, we have opposition. Opposition means I must come in to oppose and shut down whichever you are planning, whichever is good or not. For example, today's topic is analyzing the 37 years NRM rule. No. It is analyzing the 37 years of Ugandan leadership at stake. The reason why I reason it like that is one. It is not only NRM that is participating in the rule. It is participating with others.
Who are the others?
Those who are non-partisan of NRM. And most of the achievements are being contributed by the population, because most of the economic achievements are being funded by the tax base of Ugandans, not only NRM that pays tax. So it should be generalized by all Ugandans contributing, because revenue is generated by Ugandans. Then let me go and hint on the celebration. These celebrations are not of Ugandan culture and make. And in our constitutions and manifestos of the parties that we are praying, we don't have those celebrations. Those celebrations were imparted on us by the Europeans. The Europeans were targeted because we chased them from here by the word independence, which was a war of words and legislation. They didn't want to leave Africa. Then they left those celebrations to weaken our economy. Let me take an example. In NRM, the historical background of NRM, we have historical leaders forum, veterans, supporters, those who were affected by war ravages. So this budget, you go and ask them the budget, they may even refuse to disclose it to you. It is in colossal sums of money, trillions and billions, which they could subdivide to the fighters, the contributors and supporters, cooperative societies, trade unions, and community-based organizations, and Paris development models, associations registered there. It can serve the economic gain. When you send that money to those organizations, after when they are developing themselves, they pay the tax, because they can go and plant maize. When you are supplying maize, you have to pay tax, willingly or not, direct or indirect, and we develop the country. But this one will be a celebration by virtue, and even other people who are supposed to be there will not attend, because it is only on two things: protocol, you may not be at the level to be invited. Secondly, national organizing committee. The national organizing committee may not be knowing me. When they don't know me, they will not invite me there. And the problem now, those who are in Kakumiro now, who did contribute to NRM, whenever you are cited there, it is a way, these celebrations create commotion when you are cited there without an invitation from National Organizing Committee. You are supposed to be cited as a criminal and you have to be detained. You do investigative journalism there. In Kakumiro now, it is a curfew, because there are those restricted people going there. When you are cited, and in our in our act, the parliament made a terrible act of the police, enforcement act, and functions of the police. They gave the police the mandate that they can suspect you that you are about to commit an offense, they have to arrest you. Now when they suspect you that you are about to commit an offense, while yourself you are going to the celebration, all those ones are in detention centers. So those, we need to check and close all the national celebrations so that the budget can contribute to our people and liberate these who are on the streets because they are important to us. When we develop them, they can develop their country. When we don't develop them, they can be threat because they can resort to committing crimes.
Okay. I wanted to get, you are a political commissar in, is it Frenasa?
Yes.
You are a political commissar. And that was also in the same foundation of Museveni back in the 1980s.
From 71.
1971. So you have been with them for that long. When you were coming, the UPM bred the NRA. Is that right? The NRA that went to the bush in the 1980s to 1985. For the things you were standing for that took you to the bush, I think it's safe to say you because the UPM then was the same as NRA. For the reasons you went to the bush, would you say that you have achieved them now?
You can't be 100%. We have partly achieved some, and others we have failed because of the frame. You know, the revolution from 71 to 80, what caused the problem was one. We came to liberate Ugandans, but we remained Europeanized, mindseted. That was the problem. When they reached here, the most conference set grounds for unity. We came as one body. But when we reached here, the war began. People, Ugandans have never known that education of Uganda is a war of separation, segregation, marginalization. When we reached here, however much you contributed much, you couldn't take any kind of share in administration. It came out as a question of books and universities. By then, Yusuf Ray had 7 degrees. Yusuf Ray didn't sacrifice any single day, but he must be the president. So the problem of Uganda, the reason why we failed to achieve some of the primary and we achieve secondary objectives is one. After the liberation, they don't consider how far and how you have moved the revolution. They consider how schooled are you. And you find having problems with most those who engage in the struggle lose it after overthrowing and achieving it because of the schools and the other considerations. For example now, however much you contributed to NRM, you can't go through when you have a problem with the parliament. There is an oppressive law that the president can suggest, doesn't even appoint, but they use those words to blanket people that he appoints. No, he suggests to parliament. It is the parliament to vet whether you are worth that post. When you have a conflict with the parliament, you can't go through. So you may find that Museveni is saying, this gentleman, we traveled together for a long way, let me bring him closer to me. But with parliament, we will say, this one is not worth the material or the potential or the portfolio you are suggesting him to.
Naye bano bavetinga mukulembeze gwamaze kusuggesting.
Yes, he suggests, he doesn't appoint.
But don't you think nabo tebasobola kugaana bw'abanga ayina amannya g'abadde atadde ku lukalala?
Yes, they can.
However much bavetinga. But don't you think nabo tebalina bugaaniro, like tebasobola kugaana because Katono ye mukulembeze w'eggwanga yasemberayo ddala obuyinza bwonna yabulina?
Tabulina n'akatono. Bo bagaana. N'okugaanira ddala era ne bagaana ne bamuvoola. or else bwaba simuseninga. Whatever this parliament, they have their economic wars. When they target that they should get money from a certain media, they have to lure you into problems and probes. Take an example, you are a journalist, you have there an association of journalists. Let them get records from the Speaker's office. Since Parliament began, I have never seen any probe at the floor of Parliament of our local people. They only target BOU. They only target Civil Aviation Authority, where they can grill them and milk across sums of money from them. And I have an evidence of those, for example, in Chegegwa, people were chased by the National Forest Authority. But I am the one who wrote their petition and filed it to the Speaker. They didn't even consider it. But you can find them confronting East African breweries. Because with those big people, they are now targeting this probe, the current probe, which they constructed a select committee yesterday. It is to eat our money, to make us lose the taxpayers' money for NSSF. They know NSSF has a lot of money. Now they are on the managing director.
Okay. That actually, my question is to ku independence institutions, you know. If you look at Parliament, if you look at the judiciary, and then the executive itself, are they independent? Okuba nti basobola okukola decision oba okukola okusalawo kwonna nga tebalina nga beetengeredde bo nga bo.
Tebeetengeredde.
So don't you think eno yemu ku nsonga lwaki nti omukulembeze ogwanga ne bw'aba suggestinze nga bo baveetinga tebasobola kugaana muntu oyo gw'aba suggestinze? Because tebeetengeredde nga mu
mbeera yaabwe engeri gye bateetengeredde nga ekyabaleeta byanfuna kyekibaleetera obuzibu butatereeza nsonga eyo, because ebyabwe byanfuna. Olaba jo babyogera bo tebalina byamu nti ali mu kugaba ssente bwe babadde bamuvinga eno sensa ya Namuganza ne basituka ku floor ya Parliament mu kamera zonna nga tubalaba ne bagamba honorable so and so gw'obadde ogaba ssente. So tebaliyo mu busobozi bwabwe kwawula ekituufu n'ekitali kituufu. Ate ekireeta ekyo kiri eki lwakumanya nti mu Parliament waliyo emisaala n'ebirala emoluments and remunerations. Kati bo kye bakola bagenda ne beewola, bonna balina amabanja ne bateeka mu kaluulu. Buli agenda kuyingira mu Parliament abeera n'amabanja, andi olunaku lwa Parliament lwe bagiggulawo buli omu alina kufuluma n'ebbanja litali wansi wa biliyoni nga 10, because zonna banka zibeera ku mulyango. N'obwoba tofunangako account ogigulirawo ne bakuwolerawo. Ab'ebibanda bya motoka babeeraawo. Kati ebyo njagala tusale entoto tubijjewo. Ate n'ekirala, omukulembeze omulonde yenna kaabe wa LC1 tusale amagezi tulabe nti kiddayo mu 86 alondebwe nga talina kasente konna kaataddemu. Awo alina kusaavinga, tabeera na bizibu. Kyokka kati bano bonna bw'alaba emmotoka eriko banka yonna alina kudduka yeekweke.
Ezimu ku nsonga Mwami Museveni ze yayogerako ezaamuleetera ogenda mu nsiko mwalimu ensonga y'akalulu.
Y'akalulu.
Genda mu maaso.
Bw'otunuulira akalulu ke tulina oba akalulu ke twakakuba ka 2021 ne by-elections zonna ze tufunye, olaba nga ensonga zino Omwami Museveni zamutwala mu nsiko zikyuse?
Kantereeze ku nsonga eyo, ekibuuzo kirungi. Ekyamutwala mu nsiko si kalulu.
Akalulu kalulu k'ekinaana.
Yes, si kalulu. Leka nkirungamye bulungi. Ekyatwala si Museveni yekka, ekyatwala bonna abanyiiga mukununula si mu nsiko bw'ogenda mu nsiko oba tolina kigenderwa mukununula Abannayuganda nabo bonyini kwenunula kyali eki si kalulu akalulu bwe kakuwangula n'obwonyiiga embeera bw'eba nteefu osobola kulinda next noddamu kankuwa ekyamutuukako Museveni mwenyini yali Minister of State for Defence yali ava Kireka kulambula ku majja agaaliyo nga yakafuluma bw'ati ne bamukwata ate nga Minister of Defence ne bamusalako bwe bamusalako baali baplaninze bamutte abalala ne bamununulawo bwe bamununula n'amanya nti bwe naabeera wano obulamu bwange buli mu bizibu so n'abalala because nze nsobola kugenda kyokka ono mukwano gwange ng'ali Luzira nze mba ngenda ntereeza ensonga eyo so ebitongole ebikuumaddembe byali bitulugunya nnyo abantu bibalanga bwemage ate ekigambo suspicion bw'oba oyagala kutereeza ebyamateeka ekigambo suspicion kijeemu bw'olekamu suspicion ekyo ekigambo kibi kitabula gwanga because gw'omanyi ekikuliko nze nkususpectinga nti ekikuleese wano kutega bomu nja kukwata ate kyova olaba ffe wano amateeka gaffe gakola bubi with police and other state agencies kyegakolera obubi kyekino bateebereza ate bwe bateebereza bakigaziya nnyo ne bagamba nti saawa abweziti 2 ono Matovu abaddewa nti abadde n'omukyalo omu n'omusajja omu namwe ne babakwata
basuspectinga
which is very wrong olaba nga South Africa bwe baba baagala Matovu bwabula bakivaako kyokka kati wano nga mu Kampala omanyi lwaki poliisi ekwatanya abantu n'osanga ekuta abantu 1,500
nenge enoonya muntu omu
kiviira kweki butalemera kwoyo omu kankuwa ekyokulabirako mu Kampala wano nze wano si wange nzize ku program katugambe mpangisa mabega wano nze bwemanya nti poliisi ejja kunondoola oba ejja kujja enkwate nsengukawo ate nanyiniwo tajja kuleka ekifo kibeere kikalu
alina okuleetawo
gwe n'opangisa bo bwe bajja buli gwe basanga mu nyumba eyo bamukwata
ne landiroodi ne bakwatira
ne bamukwata ate landiroodi obuyinza obunkaka mubuulire ebyama byange abujjawa obuyinza bwalina buliwo mulaga national ID teyogera oba n'akabbaluwa nsobola kukafuna aka LC akensengula kuva eri oba nemulimba gyembadde tebajja kukampa n'engenda emu tajja kufuuka Katonda ntamanye nti mulimbye mbadde mbeera Makerere kati ndeeseko akawempe
ate era nekirala tasobola kulondoola kumanya wawola
si mulimo gwe bwe yeeyingiza mu ebyo naye aba akoze omulimu obutali gugwe kati ekyo kyokka nakyo kikola ki kireeta buzibu mu kitundu na mu ggwanga ate n'ebirala zo kooti zino kyendabye nga ffe abaabiraba ffe abateetaaga kugenda mu yunivasite nakusoma kooti za Uganda kati tezijja kutuyamba zijja kutabula ggwanga liggwewo omuntu n'obwoba olaba nti mubi nnyo gendera ku mateeka nga bwe gali kati beyu nze bw'osiba nze kyebatamanyi bano abalamuzi bo babikwata makusu mu masomero bw'osiba nze siyinza abonaabona wabonaabona mikwano gyange abaana abantu bange bonna be babonaabona bwe bajja okuneeyimirira n'ogaana n'enfiirayo buli amanyi yenna alina okukyawa gavumenti ne bweba ekola birungi because they have lost ate bw'oba bano abanaddiini bwe baba bakusomesa eddiini zino bakugamba nti omuntu okumanya nti okufa kubi asooka kufiibwa muntu gwayagala ennyo n'oyo gwamanyi. Kyokka bwe wafa omuntu wali mbwe mba nfuluma wano enankanya epiki oba emmotoka neekoona omuntu mukuba awo, bwe bateekako oluyimba nzina buzinyi because oyo simumanyi. Kyokka bwe wafa gw'omanyi okaaba bukaabi.
Mwami Vianney katono nnyo ngenda kusaba osooka osimbewo kawo wakati tusooke tuwummulemu tukomewo era nga tugendera ddala maaso n'okuba ttooki mu myaka 37 NRM gyemaze ng'ate ekulembera eggwanga lino erya Uganda. Tukyali ne Mwami Vianney, so tukuwummulamu katono nnyo tukomawo Mighty Drive ekyagenda mu maaso.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings. Beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
Nakuzino twajirwa flat tami. Tukyayambala ko kugoyo obutukwata.
Wajana ku body shaming. Speak up. Gendo ba confronting. Obagambe ekyo kyemukola si kirungi.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Digitalk mukwano gwange gwaliye. Topic kiri wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
Nekati tata wange amanyira nkola n'obuvunanyizibwa nyina bungi. Era agezaako n'anyamba yambako yanda.
Naye kumukubira kumubuuzaako. Noga mama we bali kunzaala.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships?
Come and visit, call me. Simanyanga I miss you bichi. Especially embeera y'obudde si nnungi.
Naye n'omuntu akwagalira mu season yaba takwagala ze nkubuulira.
Just be commenting nga topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujja kwa tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Digitalk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
You're welcome back from that short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. My name again is Roger Suriawe, and we are here with Mr. Vianney Ngoma, discussing a bit about, the history of Uganda and how we reached where we are right now. I'm going to ask my producer to first play for us the speech that the President Museveni gave in 1986 when he was declared president, and then we can come back and discuss about that.
On January 26, 1986, the NRA fought its way into Kampala and the military junta fled. A new leader was sworn in as president.
Nobody should think that what is happening today or what has been happening in the last few days is a mere change of guards. This is not a mere change of guards. I think this is a fundamental change in the politics of our country. Because in Africa, we have seen so much change that change has become meaningless. It's no longer change, but merely turmoil. This group getting rid of that group, and that group doing worse than the group it got rid of. Now, please, do not count us in that category of people. The National Resistance Movement, I think, is a clear-headed movement with clear objectives and with good membership. I think it makes a very big difference from the situation in which we were, where the very people in power were they themselves encouraging evil instead of trying to combat evil. I think this is a slightly different situation.
I think you can see from the speech, a good thing is he said it himself. Said this is a fundamental change. We have seen a lot of change that is not even change anyway, or is not worth calling that. And we assume that the coming of the NRM from the UPM back then is a fundamental change. Would you say there is so much? He said it did not have meaning. The changes that were happening before did not have meaning, did not carry that much meaning. Should we conclude that what we have today is also as meaningful, or at least more meaningful than then?
You know, when you borrow, you don't have the clear wisdom. The borrowing, I mean, is to borrow the language. The problem of Uganda, we borrow languages which we don't know. Because English, we borrow it in innumerable categories. Who borrowed it in science has his own setting of wisdom. Who borrowed it in agriculture? It is a conflict of what that was. He was saying that is a fundamental change, not a mere change of guards.
Yes.
But in English context, it was not the situation that there was being handled there now. The change of guards in raw, it is like now, when Museveni changes, disbands RRU or Wembley or anything that is a change of guards. You are changing. You have the authority and the capacity. This was a liberation, ousting and unseating a dictatorial government in power. So, should have brought it in a context that as we have removed the dictatorship, we shall all join hands and build the nation. Unlike others who overthrow and crown themselves in power. But it came by that. We shall not follow those English. That's why Tanzania, they have one thinking and understanding. They have our local language called Swahili. The language of Swahili is composed of few foreign languages in Arabic, but the wider vocabulary is of Bantu tribe and African dialects. So that's why they have one understanding. Let's go to the change of guards and whatever. You have to screen as of now, as per the situation now, the character and the handling of scenarios and forums and the enforcement of those guards you changed. How is the current guard behaving?
Exactly.
For example, you find the police framing charges to a citizen that he obtained money by false pretense in order to recover money, acting like court. That is far, far similar and worse than what was removed. You find CMI coming to arrest a civilian. a civilian, even if he compounds at reasonable charge, is not supposed to be handled by military. The military court should be for military people in service of the military. When you create general court martial, it's very wrong. That is the problem of other people who are offended with the government and who are managing the affairs of registration, creating bad laws to destabilize a country and brand the system dictatorial. Because people have their own way of doing things. You can find me not in ADF, not in Garamba, but I can create a situation without using firearms. This is why they give all means for the president to assent. I am requesting and praying to him, assenting those laws which they legislate from parliament alone, it will cause him problems. I buy this idea. In other countries, they have a body which sits with the president to scrutinize these laws and drop them back. Because at times they can cosmetically convince him. Let me give you an example. When you create anti-terrorism law, you must create anti-terrorism military and anti-terrorism police. So now the image of the police has been changed by the law in place. Not that the police want to change, but the police must enforce and the military must enforce the written law. When you create Public Order Management Act, it will create everybody disorderly and he must be corrected to order by enforcement, not by his own thinking to know that this is right, this is wrong.
Except the enforcement is usually...
It is the one which knows. Nobody who understands in Uganda, it is only the police and other state agencies that knows that you are disorderly. They have to cross even to check the banquets and the families of the people. When you make noise, they have to come in to arrest you. So,
well, that is the fundamental change, I assume.
Not. When you don't call laws that develop people, law, it must go hand in hand with development. When you go with a law to punish people, you know, in Uganda, nobody who understands, we are all dumb. We create laws to punish. We don't create laws to develop and modernize. When you create laws to punish, this is what was happening there with cyber crimes, the bail and the act which they passed by the parliament. The one offended to be captured on a snap and posted came to punish those who capture, to criminalize them. And this is why we have some of the information, it is classified. When you go to police, you have reported a case, you find the police telling you that this information, we shall not allow you to access it. It is classified, confidential. Those. That's the problem. So with Uganda, fundamentally, let everybody act. Let everybody question. Let everybody participate. The legislation of parliament, even the LC ones in their bylaws, they are far more than the parliament.
I agree.
The reason why I challenge them is this. They only shout in a parliament where those people whom they delegate and represent there, where they don't reach. In the regular and parliamentary committee, they don't allow people to go there. One time I appeared there I tried to convince these members of parliament that let these commissions of parliament behave like court. When I don't know French, they can get an interpreter. Don't keep forcing people that whoever knows English is the one to come here. Or even, I tried to convince parliament to regionalize the desk of public relations. They refused. I wanted every region to have public relations desk so that those people in rural areas can access business of parliament. So this parliament is not parliament for Uganda, it's parliament for those who live in Kampala. There is where we have people who doesn't have TVs, who doesn't have people. That office of public relations of parliament should be enriching them with what is happening in parliament or businesses of parliament. But with them, they don't want the, and their behavior is the behaviors when I had in my mango tree primary school, because a schooling student or a schooling pupil wants to show that he's more wiser than everybody. So the honorable MPs, they want to show that they are ones who understand most. I can even move an idea in my language, not using English, however much I don't know any word in English, which is sophisticated. Let me give you an example. I was doing a research. I went to Old Bazay. I interpreted that topic in their language. They brought ideas which were sophisticated even in the libraries of the universities worldwide. They are not there. For them, they think somebody who doesn't know English, who didn't go, I don't know whether they package them as you package these packages of yours. I don't know whether when you go to the school, they package wisdom and wiseness and imparting it in your brain. For them, that's how they think. There is the law in the Constitution which they say individual merit. That one who didn't go to school has no merit. Moral integrity. That one who went to school, who is an MP, is the one of high character, of moral integrity and whatever. They are demigods now. We are handling the business of the state with demigods. That's the problem. They cannot even consult. They are cheating people. They go in recess to consult. They hide in Kampala because they can't step in the villages to consult. They think they know. The reason why they were grilling the economic mass of the country to buy iPad is to cheat. Because when you Google, when they are off the floor of the parliament, they don't bring their brain. They Google. They are reading there. So they wanted to cheat the English to use. They wanted to cheat the wisdom to use, to threaten. That one, iPad, is a written speech also, prepared by your staff who are technical. So it is fed there. He clicks or she clicks and reads.
You get information.
Yeah. And the English, for example, there is this friend of mine, or this of Masaka, Mbide. When you use such kind of English, doesn't help. When I don't understand what you are exchanging to me, what will it help you? You have roast, the one using Lugubrious language, and I have roast, I've not understood you. You have created a conflict. That's what they do. And how they write those acts, for us, we cannot interpret them. So that's why we don't know in Uganda. Don't write those acts in Lego, creating some words, ab in so, which are not of English. They put them there in the act. You read. This is why you find some of the magistrates, they fail to adjudicate.
They are mostly related. No, they teach those terms in law school, so they are mostly related.
For what? The best is to understand each other and adjudicate the matter. But when you bring, and even considering some such words in the business of we are all common. What we don't know, we think we are more superior, we are not. We are all common Ugandans. That's why we fall under the category of citizens. And we are handling citizenry affairs, not handling, you can't even imagine, here in Uganda, since independence, to date, we have never got a president of Uganda. We only have a president of those who understand English.
But Mr. Vianney, I don't know, maybe it's just about myself. I don't find the English the problem in itself. It could be a part of the problem, but not necessarily the grand problem, because I do not know if in school they tell people that when you become a leader, if you should feel superior and never go to the village, because that is now just the misconduct of the leaders themselves, and that is not brought about the English. Maybe the English would be to just make us understand, at least even in the political geography of the world, to fit in or something like that, but would not be the problem why we have bad leadership and governance in the first place.
It is a language of proudness because it is obtained in academia. They call it academic. And this one is an academician. And somebody who doesn't know English is not an academician. Therefore, an academician doesn't discuss with whom he thinks and brands ignorant. You know, they think those who doesn't know English, they are ignorant. So an academia, to discuss with an ignorant citizen is impossible. This is why we have some of the NRM rows. On the day of the polling station, a sample print elects you. But in programming, it is a source. English and writing, those two elements, are a source of conflicts in Uganda and trouble. Because a member of parliament who earned 2 votes, a tick and a sample print, in programming in parliament is programming for only that one of the tick. Let me give you an example of recent. Sarah Opendi was seeking for leave to come with a bill that to be a member of parliament, you must be having degrees. Do you know where he's leading us to? He has known by his accessibility to the state resources, all his children are degree holders. He wants to cheat those who can't cross via senior 6 and above to be the servants of her children. But using those catchwords and your periodized hypocrisy, she can't even tell you that she is driving to her children. He brings it broad to the entire society. Which society doesn't reach that qualification? Then for us, blindly, we rally behind. After rallying behind, we cry after when it is in practice.
But of late twinawo abantu abasomyeko ne basomokera ddala from senior 6 to university. But then an MP who has a senior 6 certificate yabaga amateeka eggwanga kulitambulira, omuli abalina PhD, omuli abalina degrees n'abalina certificates ez'amaanyi. So don't you think nabo beetaaga at least okuba at least ne degree?
Oleese ensonga nungi. Olaba ekizibu ekiri wano. Twagendayo lwa fashion kusoma. Tetubimanyi. Ndeka nkuwa ekyokulabirako. Degree esooka. Profession yo osoma byonna. Masters ojja mu katundu. Coursework emu gy'ojjamu. Awo weeyongera kusiruwala. Courseworks zibadde nnya nkuwa kyakulabirako kati mu masters n'ojjamu emu obeera masters ku PhD n'ojjamu akatundu ka course work kati obeerera ddala musiru master all kati ekyo tumanye nti tetukisobola tukiveeko tuleme kukyerimbikamu kuleeta ignorance mu fashion endala baabazungu bagezi babiprogramminga bulungi bwe batyo kati weewuunye kati oli musawo otute byonna mu masters ogenze ku liiso mu PhD ogenze ku kano ka eyebrow kati awo otegeera oli musawo kati ofuuse eyebrow doctor
nga bw'ogamba nti mu secondary bw'oyingira senior 1 amasomero agamu gakola subjects 18 abalala bakola 2 abalala bakola 11 abalala bakisinziira kati oli n'alondako n'asuula zino endala n'agaaka kati njagala zino bw'atuuka ate era bwe yeeyongerayo mu misomo bw'atuuka mu A-level n'alondako n'agamba kakati ngenda kukola arts oba ngenda kukola sciences olwo atandise okwagala okuba nti agenda twala kintu kimu ne waba wa kumastering agenda twala kintu kimu nti bw'atuuka ku university byonna ebirala by'abadde asoma eno n'aleka math gwe yasoma n'agenda kola course endala nga math talinamu
abazungu bano waliwo ripooti ze baakweka bwe baali bajja eno baali tebamanyi kusoma na kuwandiika
abazungu
yes era mu biwandiiko ebiriwo bikulaga nti okusoma n'okuwandiika kwatandikira eno era n'okuweesa kyova olaba bo baali tebamanyi kuweesa bwe baalaba abaddugavu be baweesa ne bakiyita blacksmithing nga tebakitegeera blacksmithing kati bwe baatwala ripooti eri ne bagitwalayo mu bukyamu ne bapackaging ebintu nga tetubasomeseza kwe kubiteekateeka mu nteekateeka eyo era upside down kati bw'oba waakusoma tetwetaaga kubiteeka mu geography manya biki history biki awo oba osoma kuragajjala na kusirwala kati tulina okubiteeka mu myoga ng'abakadde baffe be baabisoma osanga bano baweesa bano bazimbi bano baddagala bano baaki awo okitwala kyonna because kisigala kimu kyokka bw'obigatagatirira eno waliyo history eno waliyo geography eno waliyo social studies bikulemye social studies kati
just a second you said that Duli ngabazadde bano they specialize in a particular thing this one specializes in a particular thing but they are also saying that even those who go to school you specialize in a particular thing, you don't become a master of all things. How different is that? Is it not the same?
You read an educational confusion and by mixing up the brain, because that's why we have those who are practical and those who are not. That somebody is an artist only. Our ancestors were not that caliber. Everything was practical and everything was scientific. They couldn't go in those four tails, and the other things were coming for a situation to relax. After relaxation, you go to practicability. But these English people, Europeans, when we were programming to host them from the Africa continent, which we termed as independence, they were planning a modern way of comeback by staging it. That's why they said official language is English. The manifestation of that is no African that has English, that no African that has offices remained for whites, and Africans are attendants because you are there to use, and we are trying now. This is why I can exchange in Uganda, in what, but they are raw, stringent and strictly tied on English. You are not supposed to be in any office or handling any public forum in any language.
But now, Mr. Vianney, when you were coming from the Fronasa all the way to the Bushwa and all that stuff, there was one interview that Museveni was asked, and he said that the use of the force that they used, the violence, of course, the Franz Fanon theory that he always liked, said that real decolonization happens that way. And you have said that we have consistently had a problem of Europeanization of every single thing. Would you say that you have also achieved the decolonization that you began with the process back in the 70s?
Now the problem, how you see it on that angle is one. Museveni liberated with a liberation language. After liberation, he dropped that language. You know, a liberation language in the whole world is Swahili. When you go to the movements confronting any tyranny, you use Swahili. If Museveni maintained Swahili, he wouldn't have been infiltrated by those people destabilizing him.
So he failed
because they would have failed to infiltrate the system because they didn't know that language. And they would have knelt before him for him to train them that language. That's why Nyerere survived. Nyerere, after ousting the whites within Tanganyika, he maintained Swahili. Nyerere, because of him being more schooled, wanted to change to English, but he was saved by one person called Oscar Kambona. Oscar Kambona called Nyerere in Arusha. They sat two people. Kambona was the Minister of Foreign Affairs by then.
In Tanzania? In
Tanzania. They sat two people. They called that meeting as Azimio Arusha. So they maintained the Azimio of Arusha. Oscar Kambona told him that should you risk to jump to foreign languages, people will view you as a foreigner. In Tanzania, when somebody calls you a colonialist, it is only here in Uganda when they call you an English woman, it is prestigious. But in Tanzania, when they cite you that this one is a colonialist, has a colonial mentality, you are an enemy to them. They don't want, because they were fed up with them. Now, we have other colonial rivalries in a changed name called the investment. Let it be that one selling mandas, cake buns at the street when he's a white is an investor. Let it be that one who is going to cheat taxes in Uganda. Zo gaining most in Uganda is an investor. Foreign investment. So we need to check ourselves for fundamental maintenance. We don't need fundamental change. When you change, in philosophy they say that in case there is a change, you have to conform to a change. Yeah. And your conformity to a change shouldn't be an obstacle to a change. You have brought foreign investment. That one is a change. You have to conform.
Yes.
What will you do? As how they destruct the country, as how you behave, and as how they cheat the country, as how that's what is causing the word corruption. Because for them, they are not here to build the country. They are here to reap the country. For example, they have cheated even oil. We no longer have oil in Uganda. If now the owner in the written agreements and covenants is Kingfisher, is that place where the oil is called Kingfisher?
So in other words, you're saying that our failure to
use our words, we have lost. Now the president was launching Kingfisher. So the owner of the oil is Kingfisher. That is the agreement and the covenant of bilateral signed between Total, Oil Manyahwat of Uganda, being launched by the president. When you go to the international law, who is the owner of the oil? When they refuse and take it all, what will you do? They can challenge you in court. So they were to get the name of the village where they are extracting the oil to be the covenant. That's why for them they are very smart. The Bazungu are very smart. They are not dumb as we Africans. When they sit here, registrated law, for example, the ICC law is Rome. Because they sat to Rome. They call it Rome Statute.
Yes.
But for us, our oil being given by law, by written covenant to Kingfisher. Now Kingfisher is the owner.
Ngoma Vianney, before Rogers comes in, mwenga abazirwanako ne Mwami Museveni n'abakulembeze ab'enjawulo okuva mu Frenasa, UPM, kakati NRM anyway, toli part of NRM. Mukirowoozezzaako okutuula ne Mwami Museveni wansi ne mugezaako okwogera naye okumuzza ku track gye yajjirako ne bye yajja asuubizza bannayuganda?
Ogambye nti abaazirwanako njagala kutereeza akantu ako. Bw'olwana obeera Mauritius abazza embeera mu nteeko. Abantu tulina ebigambo bye tukozesa wano. Omuntu ava eri nti nze nagenda mu nsiko. Omuntu atereera
naye atera bwakikuba bikozesa ne babyogera ffe twalwana ffe twali mu nsiko.
Tekikola makulu. Bw'oba nze nga nze bw'ondaba n'emyaka gino bwe mba manyi nti nalwana siri mutegeevu, kiba kitegeeza nali njagala kwonoona okutereeza ebyali bisobye. Kangende direct ku nsonga gy'ombuuziza. Twali tugezezaako okutuula ne muganda waffe okulaba kye tukola.
Okuzzaawo bye mwali mwagala okutereeza.
Nedda. Bwe nkugamba nedda teweekanga nti situula naye. Nedda. Kyenkulungamyako kiri bwe kiti. Ekituleetera butatuula ne twogera ku nsonga eyo. Bwe twamala okutuuka ebintu ne tubizaayo mu Bazungu. Bwe bampita njogere ne Museveni topiki ngisanga awo. Bweba ya Rudikya twogera Rudikya.
Mr. Vianney, I am afraid we are scapegoating. We are here. Museveni is the leader of this country. The UPM has been a part of his history. We have other political parties that have been made in Uganda. I do not know how the whites now come in the picture to say that we have not met because we have the whites with us.
Now, kyentegeeza kye kino. What I am stressing, driving at home is this. All programs to discuss about are being prepared in a current frame, not what the question wants us to build on. That is the problem. For example, they can say this is a presidential debate. You are going to sit with him. They prepare a topic for you. When you get a problem, those who prepare, those who are in protocol preparing the topic, and they don't integrate the question of this lady, you cannot be astray to discuss what is not on the agenda.
That is right.
That's why I'm saying no.
But that is not a formation of
you know the reason why? The reason why we made a mistake we registered NRM as a political party. NRM was supposed to remain as a liberation movement. When it remains as a liberation movement, it remains with a supervisory role to answer the question posed by a panelist. To check yourself. Let me give you an example. I have my family. When I remain a family leader, I have to correct the behavior and the status of our clan. You find our ancestors saying that in our clan, we behave like this. This family is a family of people of this, this, and this, and this. You stipulate them. But when you don't have that one, when you enter in on .com, hi, that family must read, everybody must score his own understanding and behavior. You split apart. Now, what I am stressing back to the question is this one. We must have, if we are to answer all these queries all together, and others, we cannot even specialize ourselves alone. We have to integrate others and buy ideas from others who were not in the struggle. We must have a historical conference. Stipulated that in the historical conference, we must have historical leaders and the current leaders, the observers, the co-opted ones, and the young people. We discuss on the current situation, relating it to our target to liberate the country. There you must have exhaustive platform to hit the debate. But when it comes, when you go to, let it be parliament, what they are discussing is by the wave. They come on the order paper, there is anti-terrorism. How will this commission of presidency in parliament, the caucus of NRM, come in to correct that we, NRM, we want this, while you are discussing and legislating about anti-terrorism? So you must have a platform to handle some such topics, because in the historical conference, Museveni comes as a member. We must elect a chairperson and other stakeholders. He doesn't come as a president. That's where he must be checked. But when he remains constitutional president, you cannot check him. Let me give you an example. Some of the people, I will not elaborate their names, were arrested by police, that they addressed an issue annoying the presidency. Have you heard, my brother?
I have. We have a number.
So when it is historical conference, he comes as a member of the historicals in the leaders forum, in the leaders council. We must tell him that here, as you have prayed me, what was happening by the other day, here we promised, because we have an agreement. We are not the ones who are ruling Ugandans. The Ugandans are the ones ruling us. For us, we are serving them or leading them by their elective mandate and wishes.
That is what it should be, but it is not what is.
We must cross him to the level that our agreement with the population was this. Now, for us, like this one, when she finds a lady misbehaving, not knowing her, what concerns her is that one has embarrassed ladies. Osanga bagamba, oba ffe bwe tusanga omusajja ng'akola ensobi, osanga tugamba n'obwoba tomumanyi omuteeka bbali n'omugamba otuswaziza ng'abasajja. So that platform of cautioning not only Museveni, let us not crucify him alone, of cautioning all those historical leaders is not there. We must have a historical conference, a historical society. Let me give you an example. The doctors have councils, societies, councils for the nurses, societies for the doctors. That's why this doctor who went and behaved in a way which is not in their society was chased, cautioned, because they have that society. Take an example. If they were only public servants only, where would they base to caution him? So now, what we need is to have a historical conference checking, and all these people, all Ugandans who are leading Ugandans, to come to give us an accountability. Oh. Then for us, we give them our side of the population, and it must integrate all. It shouldn't be specialized. The problem of Uganda, we specialize. When let me give you an example. You can find someone has never gone to police, but is better in policing. But with the police, this is the work of police. That is English way of thinking. You are obstructing. When you talk to police, they say you are obstructing police work. You are talking as who? That's what is making us fail our affairs.
Let us go through the comments.
There are a lot of comments here. Naye network nayo tenzikiriza kubanga nzisoma bulungi naye ngenda kuba nzisomamu katono. Someone here says maybe if those who know English are academicians, then the rest are naturalians. Now what do we say? Okay, thank you so much. Ethan Mwene says, I agree that elections were not the reason why you went to the bush. From the statement which was attributed to Dr. Rugunda, the then foreign minister at the time when he was quoted in the Monitor of January 3rd, 1996 as follows. At a seminar held in a secondary school in Western Uganda on 30th December 1995, where the topic was the basis of conflict, the foreign minister, Dr. Rugunda, was reported to have said that when they formed the Uganda Patriotic Movement, UPM, its founders knew they could not win the elections. He went on to say, we had absolutely no illusion about winning the 1980 election. We knew we were going to lose, but we decided to plant a seed so that it germinates in 5 years and produces seeds in 10 years. The government has had different agenda from the onset. That is Ethan Mwine. There is also another comment here. It has a question. It says, Museveni has fought endless wars not only internally, but also against our neighbors, resulting in millions citizens dying. Besides our country, the other example among others is the DRC. According to the Guardian of April 8th, 2003, conflict in Congo, 1998 to 2003, killed 4.7 million people. A total of 4.7 million people died as a direct result of the Democratic Republic of Congo's civil war in 4.5 years, according to a report released by the International Rescue Committee. Uganda was thereafter ordered to pay $10 billion US. We recently started to pay the debt off. What we did then is still being done today. How different are we now?
You want me to respond?
Yeah, you can respond to that one.
Let me respond to that one. Ugandans, I will not go across to other people. Ugandans, what we have not learned is how can we create harmony with one another. In Tanzania, they have a program, they call it in Swahili, Marumbano ya Hoja. Marumbano ya Hoja in English, it means you conflict with ideas, you fight with ideas, you don't fight with physical fight. But for us here, because of the education I was telling you, which they planted here to destabilize us, those are the results. Let me take it at home. When you want, let me give you an example. What saved Japan from such a war was what? Blacksmithing, as I have told you. During the time of our aristocracy, there was no wars of kingship and kingdoms, because you could go and dig, you could go and do your carpentry and what. When you want Uganda to be at harmony, these artist subjects, we leave them. They are the ones who are training us to conflict. Let me give you an example.
Before you give us an example, let me also read for you his comment. In fact, when he was quizzed in Parliament as to why he invaded another country without parliamentary approval, he nonchalantly, made it clear to Parliament after the event, as reported in Uganda Confidential of May 26th to June 2000.
To June 1st.
Sorry,
2000.
to June 1st, 2000, as follows. I need to inform you, honorable members, that some of these things that we do are very well calculated. We are not adventurers. We have our scientific plans of doing things. In all these activities, we have our silent allies, whom I do not need to mention here. They are not in the Congo, but we always consult with them, and we have been in the Congo with their knowledge. These allies are in Africa and abroad. Has our parliament ever been independent? You just said that the president just suggests things, but we all know that he orders. What is fundamental about this situation?
So that situation also is not fundamental. You can't have a parliament to clear wars, a parliament to come and report wars. A parliament should be a developmental tool for accountability, where the president should come and give an accountability. They lead an oversight role. They query, they urge him to perform better. Not for those roles. Even the parliamentarians, they are stabilizers because they are there to clear the wars. I am sure whenever he goes to them and he addresses them about they can clear the war. So what we do, let me read it back to where I had reached before you cut me short. In Uganda, when we go on hands-on hegemony, I call it hegemony. Hegemony is a word of, is it English? I don't know.
Yeah, it's English, hegemony.
Meaning leadership and territorial powers. When we go on hands-on this Katwe issue, we can end wars. If Konyi didn't study these girls at war, no longer at ease, you know, those topics creates war within yourself. Let me give you an example. Have you ever seen those who are not in school leading strikes? Have you ever seen those who are not politicians leading demonstrations? Theirs is how to earn a living.
I disagree, sir.
Yes.
You just told us You just told us that why Tanzania is better is because they have contestation of ideas. As a statement you put in Kiswahili, I cannot rephrase it myself. That is why they are better. Now, what we have here, you also agree that the people who are leading strikes is because they have gone probably to school and have gotten some ideas, which now opens their eyes to disagreeing with certain things that lead them to the streets to demonstrate. Is that right? So, do we now, how now do you make the difference of what happens here and reach a conclusion to say that what happens here is because people just want to eat, even when you relate the same issue, what leads to the demonstration to the same that happens in Tanzania? So it brings different results to Tanzania and a different one here.
It is far different. Because
so what causes the difference?
The difference is here. Leading the idea and demonstrations and strikes, they are not the same. A strike is out of anger and you confront. So the leadership, the reading of ideas, you sit and debate.
Except they don't
and
allow
respect the ideas of one another.
They don't allow to debate here.
You have brought me where I have expressed that here we are only controlled by the police. It is the police which knows, and nobody in Uganda who thinks, who understands, other than police, to know that you are here, you are disorderly, you are orderly, the public order.
So therefore the problem is not that the people are demonstrating, but that the police is overreacting, if I should put it that way. Yeah, so that moves from the people. I thought you wanted to say that the people are just reactionary and they just want to eat, that is why they demonstrate.
No.
Your closing remarks, Mr. Vianney. Your closing remarks.
My closing remarks, I will hint on the 37 years of NRM leadership. The reason why they use that word rule, it is being brought by one situation. They don't leave others participate freely. There is a syndrome of getting many representation, which influences them to rule, not to read. Because when you are reading, let me say, we have 5 constituencies. You want to take by the vote. We must change things to be dominated by the ideas, not much votes. What is happening in Parliament should be changed and stand forever, because it is those in favor over I. Those contrary, no. Let the idea take precedence. Let the reasonable situation take precedence, not votes. The votes are influencing them. They reach at a level of saying, whatever, nay, we must take this seat. Influencing from leadership, from fundamental change to a rule. Because you want votes. You want everything to be dominated by the majority vote. We must change everything to the wisdom. The wisdom to take the precedence. Those are my closing remarks.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for making the time and for taking us back into that history. I also thought that maybe even the reasonableness would only take charge if majority of the people agreed that that is what is reasonable. Yeah, so I don't know. Do we
idea marumbano ya hoja.
Okay.
Not votes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. My name again is Roger Sturiawe, and together with Lily and Owade, we have been here to look at the journey of the 37 years and what there is now. And so from what he just said is that we would not be so badly off if we were being led, not being ruled, if I'm getting his points very correct. So I hope that we strive to get to the area, to the space where it is leadership that is taking charge, not the rulership, that we only led, not ruled. That is what we had for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a very good morning.
21, 24.